Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays, coming to you live from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. This will be the vicinity of the upcoming financial summit taking place in late April, between April 19th and April 25th. I am out here on a recon mission, so it's not all fun and games. I am here looking for venues to put the event in. The event is open for registration, but we don't know where we're going to hold it by end of this week. We will know where the event is taking place. All right. So as I was setting up this stream, I noticed that Jimi Song was live, and I joined his stream, and he happened to be free. So Jimi, thank you for hopping in on this Bitcoin show. And there's a couple of interesting stories that happened over the last 48 hours that we're going to briefly cover, and then we're going to get on with the price analysis. How you doing, Jimi?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me in chat, and now I get to be on your show. Kind of a nice lead-in.
Yeah, no, that was cool and totally random. You haven't done a show in a while, have you?
Well, I do one every Monday, but I was in Uruguay, or flying back yesterday, and I didn't have time for a show. And I got back. I wanted to make sure I did a show. So.
All right, and what was the show about? So because I'm already seeing more live viewers on my show than you had, so I do recommend you guys go over there and watch it because I was watching it. So go ahead, give a short TLDR version to have people come over to Off Chain with Jimi Song.
Yeah, so I do a show every Monday after I send out my newsletter, and we cover the technical news from the past week. And I'll usually do a read through of an article, and I will go over my tweets and try to explain some of them because I don't know if people find that amusing, I guess. So that's what I do during the show. And just all the technical things about Bitcoin and Lightning and possibly other stuff that people might want to know.
And for this particular show, you were talking about the I guess the insecurity discovered in MakerDAO or MakerDAO or whatever the hell the new name is. I mean, man, this DeFi, you know what my favorite part of that show was? When you called it CeFi instead of DeFi.
Yeah, it is really centralized finance, and every I think Nick Szabo calls it decentralization theater, where like they just sort of pretend everything is decentralized, but if anything goes not the way they like, then they swoop in and change things to their liking. So right now, it's supposedly decentralized because the execution contract can be voted on by anyone that wants to stake Maker, except 400 million of it is controlled by the Maker Foundation, so they could skew the vote anytime they want. And in addition, it's executed on Ethereum, so of course Vitalik and friends can roll that back and bail anyone out if things go horribly wrong that way too. So
Exactly. So so not only is there a centralized failsafe within MakerDAO, there's also a centralized failsafe on top of MakerDAO that at a higher level. So it's almost like the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and the IMF, right? Except this one is being created by incompetent economists versus potentially, right? I mean, you and I can totally disagree on the money printing, but considering how much money printing Ethereum and MakerDAO probably can do, that factor doesn't actually change. But at least within the government, there are other levels of government that they are responsible to, and they could be held accountable by the people. Here in this fictional world of DeFi, there's absolutely no accountability and no one holds them accountable. And the SEC thinks Ethereum is decentralized. So there you go.
No, I don't think SEC is determined that yet. But I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous that some young Canadian kid that thinks he knows everything gets to decide everything. But that's I mean,
I know
you do what you need to.
It's not competence in economics that brings these things into the crypto space. It's whoever can launch this thing first. So, but I mean, like, that's the model, right? That's the VC model, to move fast and break things. It's just that people don't realize that when it comes to other people's money, you're not actually supposed to do that.
Yeah, no. And when it breaks, it's going to break huge. And a lot of people are going to be really, really angry. But yeah, I mean, we've been warning this on our channels for many years. So yeah, we don't need to beat that horse more dead
All right,
than it
so
already is.
let's jump onto a show. You're probably going to do a full
Uh-huh.
show on this
Hmm.
next Monday, would be my guess.
Hmm.
But you know, someone we both like, Udi Wertheimer. I can never pronounce his name.
Hmm.
So Udi pointed out the insanity that goes on in the Ethereum space. Because granted, look, I don't really pay attention to what the hell's going on with Ethereum. I already see in the live chat, what do you think about Decred? And my answer is, I haven't wasted any brain cells on Decred in over 6 months. So the answer is, I don't think about it. There are lots of things I don't think about, right? Like if you ask me, like, Tone, what do you think about copper mining? And my answer is, I don't really think about it because it's totally irrelevant to what I'm
Uh-huh.
actually doing. Now, maybe I'll take a look at a Decred chart one day, but I'm certainly not going to look into its mechanics. So let's not get into a discussion on Decred here. Maybe we'll stay that for another episode. But Udi is pointing out how this difficulty bomb known as Ice Age basically was put into Ethereum in order to get it to proof of stake. By the way, so Ethereum is now what, at least 2 years late, maybe 3 years late to getting proof of stake off the ground. They're not even close. I think they're further away. I'm dying for them to hard fork to proof of stake because I've already coined the term ETH and ETW because the miners are not going to go for this nonsense. The miners are going to just use the fork and remove this Ice Age bullshit. And they're going to try to convince all of the ICOs that are already on Ethereum that why do you want to go to proof of stake with Vitalik? We can have an actual decentralized system that remains secure with proof of work. So I think there'll be another split between ETH and ETW. But before we get there, Ethereum is now hard forking. What is this? Every month, every 2 months, in order to avoid this Ice Age. And it's a way for them to push in any changes that they like. And oops, the developers forgot to move the debt ceiling forward, known as the Ice Age, this time. And therefore, they have to do another hard fork in 2 weeks. I mean, this is just comedy theater right here, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is that that's explicitly why they wanted to get the hard fork in as quickly as possible, was because the Ice Age sort of like slowdown of block rewards was happening earlier than they expected. So they were like, we need to hard fork to make sure that miners are getting everything that they should be getting. And instead, they forgot during this hard fork. They were so busy putting in like pork barrel clauses to their bill that they forgot the main point of the bill, which was to delay this thing. And essentially now they have to do another hard fork in 2 weeks to correct this oversight. And of course, like, I mean, if you have to maintain an Ethereum node, this has to be driving you crazy because you just upgraded and you don't know how, how long it's going to take. If you're an IT person at an exchange and you have to maintain like an Ethereum full node, and you have to keep doing this, I mean, you've got to be shooting yourself in the head. I mean, you probably ruined Christmas and New Year and all this other stuff in order to get all this out. And now you're going to have to do it again for this next hard fork. So it's sad.
And again, this is the insane similarity to how, the government financials work, in that Udi points out to some commenters, like, why the hell am I the one pointing this out? I don't want to keep an eye on Ethereum. I want to work on Bitcoin. Obviously, there are people in Ethereum that know this, and none of them want to say anything because that's like killing their golden goose or admitting their life's been a waste to human existence for the last 4 years, right? So
yeah, nobody likes to admit that they're a rent seeker, but come on, you are. That's what you are. You're not doing anything important, but the fact that he's having to point it out is a sad state of affairs, and like much like government bureaucrats, you just kind of let things slip through the cracks. That's kind of what Ethereum core developers are at this point. They're bureaucrats that are rent seeking off of all of the money that Ethereum has with all of the. It's a moral hazard, right? They get to do whatever they want. and they're going to do things in a way that that's advantageous to them, even if it hurts the rest of the community. So if they forgot, quote unquote, to put in this difficulty bomb adjustment, you know, that's something that they're gonna have to continue doing. I mean, it reminds the actions and the incompetence that they're displaying reminds me exactly of like someone at the DMV or something like that, right? Like, I mean, like you're going to get that kind of behavior because that's the incentives that they've set up.
Look, I also don't understand why they haven't automated this damn Ice Age push forward. But anyway, hey,
well, they need to. It's kind of like the budget battle and in
right,
Congress every year. It's
right.
like they get to pork barrel through whatever they want because it's a quote unquote crisis. So that's basically what they've been doing.
Hey, speaking of not being able to maintain an Ethereum node, more Bitcoin Core developers are pointing out the insanity of Ethereum. I really wish these guys would, like, you know, spend more time working on Bitcoin. But otherwise, no one's going to point this insanity out. But speaking of not being able to maintain an Ethereum node, Parity, apparently Parity was an entity. I thought it was just the implementation named Parity, but apparently there is a there is a part of the foundation, or is the foundation itself. So Parity is unable to dedicate enough resources for even simple maintenance of Ethereum Parity. I didn't know Parity was an entity, a legal entity. It might be. Who the hell knows?
It is. They're literally a startup. They raise VC money and everything.
Okay, so they raised a bunch of VC money to build an Ethereum implementation in Go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I'm not that close about Ethereum, I guess. Yet one of their key stakeholders is the Ethereum Foundation, because everything is, you know, centralized and connected, which should, you know, anyway, the point is this. They realize how stupid this thing is slowly, and they can't afford to maintain it. And now they want to open source it, and they want you, the community, to now waste your time and your money programming this thing. So let's see how that's going to end. So here it is, Parity Technologies. That's the corporation. It's a legal entity. I'm sure it has a CEO. I'm sure he makes a lot of money in order to maintain this thing, which he now says they don't want to maintain, and they're going to give it to the community the way Dan Larimer project, and then goes on and creates yet another scam with yet another shitcoin. Thoughts on Parity no longer able to afford Parity? That's hilarious, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's I think they're kind of sick of doing this work where they're not getting paid, is what it sounds like. They're kind of saying, hey, Ethereum, they're trying to, I think, shake down the Ethereum Foundation for some more money or something like that.
Why can't the Ethereum Foundation just print more Ethereum and give them more money, right? I mean, they do control the Ice Age bug, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, they could just print them more money if they wanted to, but they're also flush with a lot of Ethereum, so they could just give it to them. But I mean, what this sounds like to me, and I think this is probably what's happening, is that a lot of other projects would love to get a company like Parity Technologies onto their platform. So I'm sure Justin Sun and you know, like whoever's behind Neo, and you know, like there's, I don't know, there's like a billion other projects, right? They would love to get Parity Technologies, and the CEO is probably taking their calls and saying, okay, you're going to pay me how much to build on your platform, from how much you raise? Okay, Ethereum, you need to be doing something here. But and Ethereum Foundation probably said no, so they're probably going, okay, you know what? We're going to open source this thing, and we're going to use our developers for something else where they're going to pay us a lot more money. And it's kind of a racket. It's a rent-seeking racket that they're running because there are just so few developers, and they're one of the actual few developers in the Ethereum community that actually, like,
you can say company. You can say company. That's
I mean, but they have developers. I mean, they have developers, right? And they're and you know, you can find script kiddies that can make an ERC20 token anywhere, but these guys actually have to code the core stuff, and there aren't that many of those. And I'm sure the Cardanos and Trons of the world would love to get at them. So this is their play into, all right, let's see who will bid more for us, kind of thing, is what I'm thinking.
All right, so one final story, and this also happens to involve Ethereum, as we are watching Ethereum implode before our eyes. And this is Coinfloor, one of the exchanges out of the UK. Not the most popular one, not the most liquid one, but they're realizing that trading shitcoins is not the way they want to go. So they are delisting both BCH, known as Bcash, and also Ethereum. This was great news. I mean, it's like 5% of where we need to go. Every exchange needs to do this in order for the space to actually flourish and, you know, move on with the current century's innovation. Jimmy?
Yeah, and this speaks to just how much developer and DevOps time that you have to dedicate to support an altcoin. Right now, if you're having to run if you have Ethereum on your exchange platform, you either have to trust Infura, which is a really bad idea, or you have to run your own node, which is really expensive, right? Like, not only are the hardware requirements and things like that very expensive, but you also have to upgrade all the time, right? Because if you don't, then you're going to fall out of consensus, and then you're going to have wrong balances and all this other stuff. So it's very important that you keep everything up to date. With Bitcoin, you just keep it running, and you could use old software if you want, because it's only soft forks and there's no backward compatibility issues. With Ethereum, with BCH, with all of these other coins, if you don't upgrade when they tell you, then you are screwed as an exchange. So for them, I think it's not only an ideological, reimagining towards Bitcoin, but it's more that they realize it's not very profitable to go after, the altcoins, and they're taking a slightly more extreme stance than, say, like Binance or something like that. But delisting coins makes sense when there's low liquidity, you're not making much money, and you have to support a lot of this IT infrastructure stuff, which costs a lot of money. So I suspect that pretty much every company will come to this realization. And if your altcoin apocalypse investment thesis is correct, Tone, then I suspect that as altcoins start crashing more and more of these delistings are going to show up at every exchange, because it's just simply not going to be profitable, and it would be a bad business decision to keep it going.
Yeah, I agree. And wait till it goes to wallets, wait till it goes to mining operations. This is why all of this nonsense should have never been hyped up to begin with. All right, we do need to get to the price. I will just end this on this picture. I took this picture earlier today. This is me in Dominican Republic, and there it is, a Bitcoin ATM machine.
Wow.
Right
What's the
there.
spread on that place?
I did not expect it. I didn't actually look, but I'm gonna find out. We're gonna stop by there, take a closer picture tomorrow, probably.
Very nice.
All right, guys. So we're gonna say goodbye to Jimmy. We can pull up his website.
Yeah, programmingbitcoin.com. I have my two books, Little Bitcoin Book and Programming Bitcoin. Little Bitcoin Book is available now in Spanish. We will be getting out Portuguese and Hindi very soon, Arabic and Turkish soon after that. We're working on French, Russian, Mandarin, Korean, and many other languages. So they're on their way. Programming Bitcoin is available in Korean. It will be released in Japanese in a few months as well. I think Chinese is on its way as well. So we'll have more of those. Yeah, and I will be speaking at, or I will be running my seminar in Las Vegas, February 20 and 21st. And I will also be speaking at Tone's conference on Unconfiscatable. So that's something for you to look forward to.
Yep.
Anyway,
right.
thanks, Tone.
Yep. Here is Unconfiscatable, where Jimmy will be present as well, teaching his workshop. Check it out. Registration is open. All right.
And yeah, thanks for having me on your thing, man. This song is done for real this time.
Thanks, Jimmy. Hey guys, once again, now we're up to 800 viewers. Beautiful. I'm gonna start looking at the price now, and let's see what's going on. I am in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. This will be the area of where we will have the next financial summit taking place between April 19 and April 25. Okay. Wow, I'm being like surrounded by mosquitoes. This was not a wise decision to do this from outdoors. All right. So I will shill quickly. Check out the affiliates page if you would like to support the continued effort for me to do these free videos. The financial summit, as mentioned earlier, is taking place in the Dominican Republic on April 19 to 25. I am here trying to select the right venue for this amazing event. Check out the videos from the Bali version somewhere above the pictures. There they are. Okay, let's look at price. Let's see what is going on. What is happening here? So we are witnessing a further drop. So I did this video around this time yesterday, and we were hovering in that $6,800 vicinity. We only dropped 200 additional dollars. So this is not that big a deal versus yesterday, but you can see how we are starting to form a terrible candle. Now, anything can happen in a single week. You can see, whoa, the rain has just started to come down. You can probably hear it. So you can see what happened the week of October 21st, where the price seriously crashed, but then it rallied the rest of the week. But this was a 9 candle, and 9 candles could be very tricky. This is only a 5 candle. Now, the challenge here is if this 5 candle is severe, that could create a big dilemma of the 9 candle. But if we do make it down to the $5,000 region by early next year, over the next 4 weeks, that could be the end of the current wave down. And I'm still waiting for a lower swing low than the 6,500 we did back in late November. Okay, I'm still looking for a lower swing low. But here's the bad news. The fact that if the current week closes at the current level, that is bad. That is the lowest weekly close since May. And I still believe that we will go down to the areas of April. Maybe not early April, but I do believe that late April prices are ahead of us, okay? There's just too many bad things happening in the fundamental arena of Bitcoin, and the technicals are certainly reflecting that, okay? I need to get Willy Woo on here to take a look at the on-chain volume. We'll see. I'll do my best to bring you a stream with him. Okay, let's look at the daily chart. See, yesterday I drew this arrow because I anticipated today to begin a bit of a dead cat bounce up as high as 7,200. Now, I had no idea how severe the 9 candle could be. Do I still think that a rebound is possible off the 9? And the answer is yes. This is not a reversal candle, however. So I am now less confident. I am now less confident in the rebound of this 9, but it is still a 9. We still have 3 hours to go in current candle. And there is nothing wrong with the candle following the 9, reversing the market to the upside. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So I am still gonna, basically, here's what I'm saying. If the time to short this drop was when I did the video titled Time to Pray. That is when we had a red 3 going below the red 2, the red 4 going below the red 3. That was the time to short. We were also breaking below prior area of support. This was the time to short. This is not the time to short. On a weekly scale, The weekly scale actually never had a great time to short, unfortunately. And that's because when the red 2 went below the red 1, we were already overextended from the horrible week of number 1. So the weekly chart never gave you a great shorting opportunity. The daily did. But right now, while the weekly is straight up in the middle of its downtrend to a 9, the daily is telling you, hey, we are potentially looking at a bounce back to the $7,000 area before lower prices will most likely start to occur, okay? So this is what I'm looking at the moment. Lower level time frames, the 12-hour chart has broken its setup trend. Look, you see the 9 gave you a little bit of a dead cat bounce. It gave you this 1 to 4 candle correction here a couple of days ago. And then we started a new trend to the downside. This is now in its countdown phase and in its setup phase. So tomorrow, this is right. So over the next 24 hours, the 12-hour will also be on a 9 buy. So you have a 12-hour 9 buy coming up. The daily is already on a 9 buy. The 4-hour had its 9 buy yesterday. I really felt that this, in combination with the daily 9, would start this dead cat bounce, but clearly it did not. So now you want to wait for the 4-hour to reach its 9, which should happen. This candle is going to end in 2 hours, and then we need, what, 6 more candles. So 6 times 4, 6 times 4 is 24 hours. What a surprise. So in around 24 hours from now, the 12-hour is on a 9, the 4-hour is on a 9, and the daily will still be coming off its 9 with a candle following the 9, which is close enough for me. The GBTC continues to drop. The premium isn't moving very much. Let's look at the shitcoins. Ethereum versus, maybe I should update this. I thought Ethereum dropped more than $1. Oh yeah, it is dropping. So Ethereum versus Bitcoin is dropping. Once it falls below 0.0175, it is in serious trouble. I believe Ethereum is already in serious trouble versus the dollar. That looks ugly. It is on a 9, so it has a potential of a rebound. Don't really care about looking at Litecoin. The other thing I wanted to I have a question. It's a question I can read, but I can't answer for obvious reasons. A person is saying, I want to buy 10 Bitcoin again. I think at 5.5 thousand, I will get some cheap, or should I wait for 4.8 thousand? It's a question I cannot answer. You have to make your own buying and selling decisions. But thank you for your donation, Joshka. Let's take a look at a few stocks. I don't know this company, CRWD. I don't like it. I don't like it. It doesn't give me a good buying opportunity of a 9 or a 13. This was a much more likable situation. I was coming off an aggressive 13. It's not great, but some strength and a reversal candle. The 9 was coming. This almost got me to a sequential 13. It almost got me to a 9. It feels like I would rather wait for another setup to the upside. I don't like this negative volume. The positive volume has not made up for it. And if this stock, it's now been consolidating at the lows for way too long. If this stock goes below 45 bucks, it can easily go down significantly lower. It looks like it is an IPO, And what is the tone Vays rules on IPOs? You either need a 50% correction. Oops. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Let's delete that. How far did we fall? You only fell 30% from the IPO. I want to see that at 50. How far did you fall from the top? 55%. That is the bare minimum of the top, but I want to see 50% of the IPO or something closer to 60 or 70 off the top. So somewhere in the $30 range, 70% down is where off the top is my interest. And that should be approximately 50% of the IPO price, and it is. That is 51% of the IPO price. That is where I become significantly more interested in whatever this thing is. All right, S&P 500, I want to look at that. Still hanging in there nicely. Today was a bit of a slowdown day. Remember, tomorrow is a 9 in the S&P 500, so that this could be the top. I would like to see the top come in tomorrow. Is today higher than yesterday? What was the high here? 320250, 3202. It's a double top on the daily. I would like to see tomorrow spike up and then end as a reversal candle. Mining is hanging in there. That's a good sign. Miner profitability is obviously going down. I'm keeping an eye on the shitcoins as a cumulative. I kind of want to see Binance not outperform Bitcoin for the year, and I still have 2 weeks to make good on that statement. I made a statement about 6 months ago or something, or longer, that I expect Bitcoin to outperform all the other shitcoins in the top 10. Binance is certainly a shitcoin, and I would be disappointed if Binance outperformed Bitcoin versus Bitcoin for the year. Okay. The longs versus shorts ratio continues to crash down. The longs are starting to deleverage, which is a smart thing to do considering the price is crashing. The longs continue to go out of control to the upside, but the shorts are starting to rise, so it's evening out. What the hell does this green line mean? I have absolutely no idea. I'll entertain. I'll glance at one more stuff. Oh, look at the Russell reversal candle. Nice. Russell was one of our main test cases for the new code. I never heard of the stock Playway. It is on the Polish exchange. Someone suggested, is it in a hyperwave? My chart isn't updating, unfortunately, because I'm in a foreign nation. So I won't be able to answer that question. I wouldn't be panicking quite yet. This weekly chart does not look that bad yet, though the week is only 2 days in. You have a bounce off the longer term moving average. And it's a 3 of 9. It tops on a 9 weekly here, still on a 10 to the countdown phase. The daily chart looks a little toppy, but very positive candle today. It just got a little overextended. If I was holding this asset, I would still be long. I wouldn't be too cautious. I love holding stocks when they reach their new all-time high. I think that's a positive sign for a stock. I don't know why people think that a stock hitting new all-time highs is somehow bad. Something hitting new all-time highs means people want it and the company is doing well. Nice 9 here at the high, another 9 here, no 9 here, but the following candle, you know, took out your short trade, and now there's no reason not to be long for me personally until I see bigger sign of trouble. If you feel that you've profited good from this, it is a little overextended. No one ever went broke taking profits of a profitable trade. I don't want to look at any more shit coins, guys. Another time, please. All right, I actually got to go, and I'm being eaten up by mosquitoes. I guess I can glance at Lulu. It's a stock I used to trade back in the day, back when it was very volatile. I mean, it's still bullish to me. It fell a little bit. I mean, market, that's not a good volume spike. Probably had some rough earnings, but it held up through those earnings fairly well. I'm not ready to give up on Lululemon. And I don't know what Yeti is. Hopefully it's a research firm going out into the wilderness of Canada and Russia. Oh, this looks awesome to me. I like the setup here. I love this giant ascending triangle-ish figure. Look at how it's holding the 200-day moving average now that it has shown up since its IPO. I'm assuming this, well, it's not the IPO because it has earnings that day. I'm just can't seem to pull up back-end data here. This looks bullish to me. It has not been able to break the $34 range, the 35, let's just say 35 bucks. It hasn't been able to break 35 bucks all year. And I believe when it finally does break 35, it should rally pretty well. I mean, I'm not too concerned here with this name, whatever the hell they do. All right, guys, that's it for me. Don't forget to check out the Financial Summit videos from Bali. And if this event suits you, I will have a venue all picked out by end of week, which is why I am in the Dominican Republic. Also, Unconfiscatable is currently up on sale. That's going to take place in Vegas, February 20 to 23. And if you want to support my work, for me to be more positive and cheerful about videos for you regularly, please check out the affiliate page on tonevays.com. All right, that's it for me. The only workshop I have planned is, wow, I'm using a new camera. This new camera is pretty cool because it's actually dark. Like, it's dark behind me, but like the camera is picking up some good light. That's awesome. There's things I don't like about it. The fact that I can't like tilt it up or down, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, cool. Yeah, that's a good question. I am curious myself if the ATM machine here in DR requires KYC or not. So in case those of you that came late, I took a picture earlier today of a Bitcoin ATM machine in the Dominican Republic. A few friends of mine out here took me out to see it. I didn't really use it. I didn't walk inside. I just took a picture. I just had too many things to do today as well. All right, guys. On this note, I'm going to go inside, and I think I got like 1,000 mosquito bites while I've been out here. All right. Talk to you all on the next one.